Yo, Footballer Nation, what's going on? It's Carson here again, giving you another pre-video message. So this episode was supposed to come out a long time ago. It is Alex's preview schedule that we recorded almost 2 weeks ago. The file was so massive and we talked for so long that editing this took several days and several crashed final cuts. But we did get it, thankfully. It is going to be in 2 parts and it will be coming out today, the day of the schedule release. So again, keep in mind we do talk about some things that have changed since then, but for the most part it's all there. If you can watch it in 2 parts, you can watch it before the draft comes out at 8 p.m. tonight, or you can watch it later, whatever you want to do, or you can not watch it at all if you're just not interested in that. Either way, our regularly scheduled episode will also be releasing today, and you should definitely listen to that. But yeah, thank you, Footballer Nation.
Footballer Nation, welcome back to another special episode, and this is a doozy. It's going to be, as you can see on the screen, if you can see on the screen, for those who can't see on the screen, it is going to be the NFL 2025-26 schedule. Now, you may be wondering, that hasn't released yet. They're releasing on May 14th. I made my own version of it a while back, but now it obviously won't be official, but it's going to be, I think it's a pretty good representation of what I think it'll be. It'll be pretty good to kind of go through this stuff and see what we think. We're going to predict the full season, but before we do that, we're going to roll the intro.
Hey, it's just me again, one more quick time. Just letting you know this is going to be one of those videos we do where if you can watch the video version, would highly recommend it so you can actually take a look at the bracket and really see what your team's doing. We go over them through the weeks, but we kind of have to go pretty quickly since we're really talking about the predictions part of it. So if you really want to be able to see your team's schedule, make sure to check out the video format if you can. If you can only listen, that's totally cool because we will also be posting it so you can also take a look at Alex's mock schedule.
Hello, everybody. I am your Bills-aholic here with the NFL 2025-26 predictions on playoff predictors. I'm joined by...
My name's Carson, and I'm a Cards-aholic.
I'm Ian, and I'm a Bears-aholic.
And today we are going to kind of do little overviews of the teams. I'm going to kind of go through week by week and give you all every game. How we're going to do it, our predictions are going to be basically whichever team gets 2 picks is going to get the win. Because there's 3 of us, it's pretty easy to do it. And we're going to go through the schedule and see what we end up with in terms of the standings. The standings will be on the right-hand side for those that are watching on the video format. And I will do an overview at the very end, maybe one in the middle, depending on time. But I'll do an overview of the standings at the very end. We could also go through playoffs. Do we want to go through playoffs?
Oh, absolutely. We got to go through it all.
We will also go through playoffs.
So this is a combination of Alex's custom schedule and our way too early season predictions.
I know we say we're the only podcast where you can get UFL content. This is still true, by the way. Don't look it up. But this is also the only podcast, or really anywhere, where you can get an early schedule prediction before the schedule even comes out. So starting off with week 1, Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. We got Tennessee at Cleveland, Miami at New England, Jacksonville at Vegas, Tampa at Buffalo, Arizona at Indianapolis, the Chargers at the Giants, the Panthers at the Jets, the Niners at the Texans, the Saints at the Bears, the Seahawks at the Falcons, and the Vikings at the Packers. And then in terms of primetime games, Thursday Night Football, the opener will be Commanders at Eagles. The Super Bowl winning team always hosts at home in the first game, so I kept that true and try to make it a good game. It's an NFC Championship rematch. Sunday Night Football is Lions-Chiefs. Typically, Sunday Night Football tends to be the Super Bowl losing team. That's not always the case, but I kept it here. Monday Night Football doubleheader. Cowboys, Broncos, and Rams, Ravens. Every game I will read, I will say the road team first. But I'm not going to go through every week saying all these things. Once we get to the next week, I'm just going to say a game we're going to pick, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's enough. I think that's enough explaining. We're going to get into our picks, starting with the Commanders and the Eagles.
Philly.
You know what? Give me the Washington win. No, Washington win.
Washington wins.
See,
I have
here's-
so much faith in Philly going into this season. I did last season too, and it paid off. They've lost a lot of defense, but they also have addressed a lot of defense. And it's the Eagles. I just have a lot of faith in them.
Tell
I
you what, this is a really interesting matchup, but
This is a very interesting one. It's gonna be a very good game for sure. An amazing
for week
opener.
one,
I
yeah.
have a lot of faith in Philly.
Here's where I'm coming from. Okay. Philly and Washington both had amazing drafts. Both lineups have improved very much. I think Washington improved a little more. And also, Jaden Daniels is now being mentored by Colin Schlee. So, I'm going to take Daniels in this first win.
Hey Carson, do you have any reservations to Colin Schley working under Cliff Kingsbury?
Well, see, here's the thing. He doesn't. Cliff Kingsbury works for Colin Schlee now. That's how it works.
This is true. Washington does have Colin Schlee. They have
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels and Colin Schlee.
The big
They're not gonna
question,
start.
the big question is whether or not they end up keeping him through the offseason because he's an unsigned free agent. So, not a whole ton of those actually end up staying on
Free
the
agent.
team. So, I am a little worried that Cliff Kingsbury, being Cliff Kingsbury, isn't going to see the genius of Colin Schlee and drop him, in which case the Commanders drop this. However, he is currently on the team, so I'm going to take him first.
I'm still going to go with Philly mostly because I also know they're not going to start Colin Schlee in the first game because they want to keep. It's like Mitch Trubisky. You got to keep him.
Oh, of course
like, as a
not.
weapon.
Of course not.
So I think Philly will take this. I don't think Jaden Daniels will have the mentorship from Schlee fully activated yet if he's still on the team. So I think Philly will take it in a close one, but you'll
think
see.
that's a
Washington
perfectly
get better
reasonable
as the
pick.
season goes along. Saints and Bears, quick one for me. I'm taking the Bears.
Taking Chi-Town, bro.
I'm taking Chi-Town. Although I will say, we could get another fluke of an amazing Saints team for weeks 1 and 2, and then they just suck. But also, this is Chicago at home, and they're so improved right now. I think they should take it easily.
Yeah,
I'm way more worried about the Bears just absolutely sucking for no reason than I am about I'm worried about the annual Bears just suck more so than I am the random Saints are amazing.
That's entirely valid. If the Bears lose this, there's not going to be a good reason for it other than the fact that they're just the Bears and it's just going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be a bad week 1 loss too because the Bears have a tough schedule and I give them an easy week
Horrible.
1 game.
Be horrible.
Seahawks Falcons. This is a matchup we had last year. Atlanta, I believe, took it. No, I'm sorry. Seattle took it this
Seattle
year because
did take it.
Seattle started off slower. I think I'm taking Atlanta, but I'm not sure.
I actually have a lot of faith in Atlanta as a team going into this season.
I really like Michael Penix coming into this season, so
too.
I think I'm going to take him. I think Sam Darnold's going to need some time to fit into the system.
Yeah. And I don't see the Seahawks having like a 14-3 season. I think they'll be
Absolutely
a
not.
pretty decent contender, but Darnold will have a little bit of regression just because of the team he's around and everything.
Absolutely.
I mean, they definitely did like upgrade in terms too. I know they lost both Metcalf and Lockett, but they went out and they got Cooper Kupp. They still have JSN. Their running back game is still amazing. But I think Atlanta's defense is actually kind of like just a sleeper defense.
They also
I agree
improved
with
massively
that.
in the
Pretty
draft,
solid.
taking 2 edge rushers in round 1. Atlanta's defense is now up there.
So and even then they had to do that because of their loss to Grady Jarrett, and they lost their center Drew Dahlman. But I still think their offense and their defense are just. I think the Falcons are just such an underrated team as it is.
I agree.
They are.
I like the
And
Falcons.
it's going to be an interesting season for them because of the division they're in and everything. But I think this is going to go well for them in this first game. Vikings and Packers. I know y'all don't like Jordan Love, but I'll
No.
also say this. I think considering it'll be J.J. McCarthy's first game as a starter, very likely this will be the case. I think Green Bay will take it.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I think this is JJ McCarthy's first game as a starter, and this is a very solid team to be going up against, and especially in your first game. The Packers
road,
defense
too,
is
that's
actually
important.
pretty solid in most regards, and they upgraded their offense a little bit, and they haven't really lost any like key players to their team. Whereas Minnesota, again, JJ McCarthy's first start, their defense, I think they lost a few members on defense. So I do think Green Bay is going to take this one in the first week.
Here's what I'm going to say. I do
Okay.
believe Green Bay is going to take this because it is JJ McCarthy's first start. You're going to hear this a lot from me in the offseason, and you're going to hear a lot of it from me in the season. During the season, I've already said it so much. I'm probably JJ McCarthy's biggest believer coming into this season. I love JJ McCarthy. He was my favorite in the draft, and I really think he's going to do good things. I think he'll put up a decent fight against Green Bay. It'll probably be a loss, but I think it'll be a pretty good fight.
Carson has single-handedly convinced me that J.J. McCarthy will be a good quarterback, even though I really don't know.
I'm very
So I'm
excited
kinda
about
trusting.
McCarthy, especially with KOC as his coach.
Oh, yeah. I think the Vikings will still be very good, but it's going to be a slower start than last year.
Definitely.
Bucks and Bills. Now, I know the Bucks have like one of the most formidable looking run defenses coming to the season. They just drafted potentially the biggest NFL player to ever get on the field, and they already have Vita Vea. But the Bills aren't a run first team.
No, and this is at home in Buffalo. I think this is a lock. Buffalo.
I am going to take Buffalo, but I do think I see a chance where the Bucks could come in and stun the Bills and take it. But I think it's way more likely I think it's like an 80-20 chance, and I have a lot more faith in the Bills winning this one.
Here's what I'll say about Cardinals Colts. I think this is a Anthony Richardson stinker again.
Here's what I'll say. I'm obviously taking Arizona for the main reason we have no idea who the starter's going to be for Indianapolis, and whether it's Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson does play into it very well.
They also Riley Leonard as well.
Yes, and Riley Leonard could have a potential start. I doubt it though, but I also am not a big Riley Leonard fan either. So, and when it comes to Arizona, they're essentially running it back with almost the exact same offense as last year, and I think that's going to be a big strength for them in the first couple weeks. And their defense is now stacked, especially that defensive line. They have been massively improving. It's probably going to be a top 5, especially in these early weeks. So I think this is a pretty easy week 1 matchup for Arizona and a good start to see.
I agree. I like how they drafted, and I think they drafted better than the Colts. And I also think that they're just heading into this game. They were similar record-wise, but I think the Colts have more question marks, and I like taking Arizona here.
Really agree.
Can we choose the Chargers over the Giants and move on?
Yes.
I'm going to take the Chargers.
Yes, I'm going to take the Chargers.
Chargers in the upset. I'm taking the Chargers with the upset.
Hey, all I'm going to say, okay? I'm also a big Jackson Dart guy, and I know there's not a lot of big Jackson Dart guys, but I am one of them. I do like Jackson Dart. However, he's not going to be starting, obviously.
He's not starting.
Obviously, it's going to be Russell Wilson, and yeah, I don't know why I just had to throw out my Jackson Dart opinion, but I think he will get starts this season. He will get starts this season. I'm convinced.
I do think there's a chance the Giants kind of shock a lot of people in the first couple of weeks. Their defense is looking pretty scary. They have Malik Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy,
Cam
That's
Scatterbo.
kind of underrated. I think all that needs to happen is they just need to iron out their quarterback situation. I don't think Russ is the answer, but we could be shocked. We all slept on Russ last year, and he came out and he played decent football, and I think the Giants are potentially looking at playing
Neighbors would be good.
So I do think there's a chance that they stun the world, but I do not think it'd be week 1 against the Chargers.
There's not a question. Go ahead.
I was going to move on to the next one. Go ahead real quick.
Oh, I was just going to say, and there's not a question that they actually will have a running offense with Scatterbo this season, and they did improve their offensive line a little bit. So I agree with Ian. I think the Giants could actually potentially have a pretty good season. I don't think Russ will be the starter for the entirety of the season. I think Dart's going to get some starts. But as of this moment, week 1, it's obviously going to be Russell Wilson, and the Chargers will pretty easily take it.
I'm actually pretty happy. I'm pretty proud of the Giants draft picks, even though their GM is not a good GM at all. I'm pretty proud. I think they did well in the draft and free agency and whatnot.
I agree.
Will it be enough? Probably not, but they'll be competitive this year.
Definitely.
Now you want to talk about an interesting week 1 matchup: the Panthers and the Jets.
I personally think this might be one of the games of the weeks. I have actually very high hopes in both of these teams.
I agree.
I think both of them have potential for great seasons. I think Carolina has much higher potential. I think the Jets are right kind of there on the edge. Obviously, I have a lot of faith in Justin Fields, more so than most people. And I know a lot of it will depend on him and how he plays. But I think both teams had very good drafts. They've made really, really good offseason moves. So I think these are both teams, this matchup in itself and the teams in general are going to be very good going into the season. That being said, I'm going to take the Panthers in this week 1 matchup.
I agree.
So one thing I will say, I do question some of the draft choices that the Jets made. But I think they already actually have a somewhat decent roster set up, and I think Justin Fields is a very capable starter. Ironically enough, even though, and I make this joke all the time, even though our first episode of Footballers Anonymous was about the issues with Bryce Young, I think all three of us are pretty big believers in him. And I think with T-Mac being a big part of that offense now, that connection might not quite be there yet, but I think this could be a really good Carolina win. Shout out to Alex for making this actually really interesting week 1 matchup.
I cooked with this because I actually did week 1 at the very end. So it was kind of just like what was left in terms of what games were left over. But the games that were left over, I tried to make them interesting. I think I did a pretty good job.
I really like this.
The reason I did it backwards is because week 18 has to be all division games. So I started there just to guarantee that. And I went backwards 18-1. So San Francisco Houston's another interesting one. Okay. I'm gonna throw this out here. I don't think I'll be in the majority. I think week 1 shenanigans happens. San Francisco has Nick Bosa and a pretty good defensive line. Obviously, they lost people on that defense, but Houston's offensive line is not good. They've not done stuff to fix it. And I know I think San Francisco would take it in the week 1 matchup.
I agree. Houston has done a lot of losing in the offseason. And their draft didn't seem to be the most solid of all the teams. Whereas San Fran also did a lot of losing on their incredibly stacked defense, and things are still uncertain with their offense and Brock Purdy and all that. But just like Alex said, I think the Texans offense is just too weak, even with a weakened San Francisco defense, and I do think San Francisco will take this.
This is a very interesting one because you've got two teams. I feel like these are two teams that are two very big question marks going into next season. I didn't love either of their drafts. I think San Francisco had a better draft than Houston, and I think they should be able to take this one over Houston. But I could see it go either way. I just really don't know what to think of either of these teams coming into the offseason.
And this will be highlighted by our predictions later for both these teams.
Yes.
That's what I think, at least. I'm skipping these games because I will do every night games like Sunday night, Monday at the very end of the week. Okay. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Now, I want to throw this out there. For the sake of the predictions, I feel like it's the safest to assume that Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers.
I think whether or not it's Will Howard starting or Aaron Rodgers, I honestly think you're going to see something pretty similar. I think Will Howard was a draft steal.
Honestly, I'm just going based off how it is now, as I have been with the past couple teams. The Steelers went out. They got DK Metcalf to pair with George Pickens. I really like that move for the most part. They lost Najee Harris, which I think is actually kind of an upgrade to their team. But then other than that, it's just the situation of their quarterback situation isn't figured out. And with Cincinnati, they went out with their horrible defense, and they got some pretty big upgrades in the draft. They're still looking to fill a couple holes. And offensively, I still think they're a powerhouse. So as long as, even if Pittsburgh figures out their QB situation, I still think Cincinnati's going to take this in week 1. I think they're going to pour a little bit more through their defense during the offseason, and they'll just get it together by that time.
I was also going to take Cincinnati, so that's why I picked them on the thing.
So I think I'm going to pick Cincinnati here. I predict this would be a very high scoring game. I think it really does, if we're assuming Aaron Rodgers is starting for the Steelers, then I definitely like Cincinnati. If it's Will Howard, then you get some really interesting thoughts. Because, look, even though Pittsburgh, most of their draft coverage was everyone just being shocked at the fact that they didn't take Shedeur, they had a really solid draft on an already really solid roster. And they've built up a really good system, and a lot of people say that Will Howard is a game manager, system quarterback. If that's what you're saying about him, I may or may not agree, then he landed in about the perfect spot to start, in my opinion. And I think he could be balling week 1. But I think this is a Cincinnati win still.
We could talk about some rookie quarterbacks coming up now.
Yes,
this next one's a fun one.
Now, this is a week 1 matchup, so I don't know if Shedeur Sanders will be starting because the Browns QB room is a mess. Cam Ward is like a 99% chance to start week 1. It would be great if we got Cam Ward versus like either Shedeur or whoever.
Dylan
In a
Gabriel.
week
Dylan
one sense,
Gabriel.
though, it might not happen.
So I don't think that'll happen. I think it's most likely that the week one starter for the Browns is Joe Flacco.
I agree.
Yeah.
Especially considering the things with Deshaun Watson are still up in the air. We really have no clue what's going on with that. And I think as far as the Titans go, I think this is a great team for Cam Ward to make his debut against. The Browns defense is lacking in some spots. Obviously, they have Myles Garrett. They just got Mason Graham when they traded down in the draft and shocked a lot of people. So their line's pretty good. I think they have a pretty solid secondary. But at the same time, the Titans made some really good upgrades where they needed to make upgrades. They went out and signed Tyler Lockett, which is a great great veteran presence. They already had Calvin Ridley, Nakeem Westbrook-Hines, who is on and off. Their running game's really strong. Their offensive, their defense is good. I think the Titans, honestly, as long as they don't just completely mess up, I think they can have a solid season, and I think they take it in week one against a very uncertain Browns team.
What do you think, Carson?
Well, okay, I love talking about rookie quarterbacks. So this is a very interesting matchup week, Tennessee versus Cleveland, and in a perfect script, we'd be seeing rookie quarterback versus rookie quarterback. We're probably going to see Joe Flacco. What we need to think about with the Browns, though, is you have to keep in mind the Browns coaching staff chose Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders. We have to keep that in mind, no matter how much the NFL social media hypes up Shedeur like he was a first rounder. He is a 5th round quarterback, and he was the 2nd quarterback taken. And you could pretty clearly tell that even the coaching staff of the Browns weren't super hyped that they picked him up. This was definitely a management telling them they needed to take Shedeur type thing. So we need to understand that that means that pretty much it will be assumed that Dylan Gabriel is that guy above Shedeur until Shedeur proves, obviously through the offseason and in camps and during the season and whatnot, that he deserves that spot. So I think if we see a rookie quarterback coming out at any point in the season, it will probably be Dylan Gabriel before Shedeur Sanders. But I think
too, these are quarterbacks 4 and 5. It's not like it's 2 and 3.
Exactly.
This is 4 and 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's pretty clear Joe Flacco will be starting, and I think the Browns have improved pretty well, but no matter how much my Virginia Tech fan will have me hate on Cam Ward, I do think he's a pretty decent prospect, and the Titans had a really good draft. I really like the Titans as a sneaky threat coming into next season, and I think against the Browns, that's a pretty easy win.
I agree with that. I was thinking about taking the Browns, but we're going to leave it with the Titans.
Joe Flacco could surprise us, or they could come out with a completely different QB. We have no idea.
Flacco did last time.
We could see Kenny Pickett start week 1 for all we know. We don't know what's going on in that management. We have no idea.
Dolphins, Patriots, and I'm going to
Patriots.
throw it out there now. I'm taking the Patriots.
I think the Patriots are going to have a amazing season.
Yes.
Amazing. I think they're going to have
Yes.
such a good season this year.
They had such a great draft, and I love the Patriots next season. This is a great pick.
Jacksonville and Vegas.
Listen, I'm going to say it off rip. This is the Poverty Bowl of the week.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Both teams had very good drafts.
Yes.
The Jaguars shocked a lot of people when they
Oh my
traded.
God, wait, I'm sorry.
This
It's
sniper.
Ashton Jeanty versus Travis Hunter.
Yes.
It's a great matchup. It's a great matchup. Because
Oh
again,
my
just
God.
shocked everyone by trading up like that. Raiders took Genty. That was no surprise. I don't know. I just don't see those fixing these teams overall.
No.
And it's kind of hard to say, but I do think the Raiders look much brighter as a team, and Genty will bring a lot of life to their offense that they didn't previously have. I think him and Brock Bowers are going to be a great duo, and I think Jacksonville just still has too many problems.
What do you think, Carson?
Well, so I really like the Jags draft. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Tootin, who they took up in the 4th round. Of course, they already have some pretty strong running backs in Jacksonville, so I don't see Tootin seeing much action at the beginning of the season. He could, and I personally think he should, but I doubt it. I think the Raiders have made much bigger moves in the offseason, and I think Genty is going to be big for them. Pete Carroll loves a running offense, and except when they need to pass first. But I like the Raiders here. I think they'll have not the best season, but I think they'll be pretty okay.
Now, I don't want to make it sound like Travis Hunter is going to do nothing for this team. I think Travis Hunter is going to do a lot for the Jaguars. For maybe like right, I think it'll happen weeks 2 or 3. He'll already be a huge impact on the team. The only problem I have with week 1 Travis Hunter is just the atmosphere of him playing 2 positions on 2 different sides of the ball. That's my biggest thing. I don't know how they're going to address that. I've already said many times how I think they should address it, and it's just going to be a learning curve with someone new like this. And I think week 1 is going to be part of that learning curve of figuring out what to do. And also, I've lost all faith in Trevor Lawrence for the most part. So that's also a problem.
I will say,
I'm gonna be honest. I am leaning Jacksonville, but obviously Vegas is the 2-1 favorite, and it can go either way.
if you haven't watched it, I would recommend watching the Jags GM and Liam Cohen's press conference with Travis Hunter after he was drafted, because they talk. Their GM gave like a full-on speech about how Travis Hunter on the Jags is going to change the way people look about football. It was actually kind of funny, but they do talk quite a lot about how they're going to use Hunter, and they were pretty insistent that like the way he was used at Colorado, that's how they want to use him. They want to use him for his strengths, as they say, and that's what they want to lean into with their game plan. Whether that's realistic or not, I don't know. But that's what the Jaguars management is really pushing for right now. So we could see that week 1. And whether that'll work or not, we really don't know.
If they could get that to work, that could be a genuinely like big thing for Jacksonville down the line, like a big asset for them way later, but it's just not right now.
It was lethal at Colorado. It's very effective.
It was.
It's just translating it to the NFL may take some time.
Yeah, but if they can figure out how to make it work, it could be like a generational like thing, like something that
Absolutely.
like gets implemented more into the future NFL. Sunday Night Football, Lions Chiefs. I know it's week 1, like it was like literally 2 years ago, but that's kind of just how it ended up.
How funny would it be if the Lions did this again?
I want to pick them so bad.
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will. Not really much to. I don't really have much to say about it. I just where this is the start of the season with the Lions, so we're expecting their defense to be entirely healthy. That was their biggest problem in the late stages of this season. And Kansas City, I don't know how to feel about Kansas City at all. So I'm just going with the team that I have feelings for, in which this case is the Lions.
Kansas City will still, of course, be good this year. They're going to be good when they have Patrick Mahomes, but they're not going to be as, I don't want to say lucky as they were last year, but they're not going to have every close game go their way like they did last year. And I think the Lions are definitely one of those situations where like the Lions got the grit. Especially week 1, they'll have Aiden Hutchinson back. They'll have a lot of firepower. They lost in the divisional round. The Chiefs didn't look good in that Super Bowl loss, but
Will say it is important to understand that this will be the debut game for a new OC and DC for Detroit. And I know those two were both huge in their success last year. I am taking Detroit in this matchup, but that will definitely be a big question mark going into this matchup, especially against KC, who I don't think they'll be as good this year or get as lucky this year. But I mean, they're still the Chiefs. So it's going to be a pretty big test for 2 new guys week 1. So that's my only question mark. But I think Detroit should be able to take it.
Monday Night Football doubleheader. There's a couple of these put in here. We'll see throughout the week. So I didn't do every week, but like a couple of weeks scrambled, and I was like, yeah, Monday Night Football doubleheader, because they'll do that. Dallas and Denver. They always do it week 1, so there's the first one.
I'm trying to see. Sorry, I'm just checking. Okay. I didn't know if they took a running back or not, and I didn't know when they would have. If they did, and they
Who?
did.
Dallas?
With 28. No, Denver.
Oh, Denver did.
So
They
I
did,
just had
yeah.
to check real quick. I have no faith in Dallas. Denver is extremely promising in every regard, and they had a very good draft. I don't think they took the best running back prospect when they picked running back, but
Who did Denver take? I'm
I'll pull it
spacing
back
it right. I'm spacing it right now because I remember I was really happy with it.
Harvey or something like that.
Yes, Harvey. Oh my gosh, Harvey was such a good pick. Such a good pick for the Broncos.
So I'm wrong about like where he was selected.
Yeah, no, I really liked Harvey.
Oh, I'm gonna trust Carson as college knowledge, so that makes me even more optimistic for them as they are. And Dallas did not have a great draft. I was talking to a Dallas fan as the draft was going on. He complained about a lot of picks, including their first rounder. So I don't know what this is. I don't know what to say about Dallas. This Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas, I don't think they had a bad draft. I think they picked good players. I just don't think they they did technically address most of their needs. I just don't think they did so with the right levels of priority, and I question a lot of those decisions, but it is Jerry Jones after all. And Denver didn't address the draft in the way we thought they would, but they did it so perfectly. RJ Harvey's going to be huge for the Broncos.
I also think that Jade Barron will make a great what's the word? I don't know. I think him and Pat Surtain are going to be a great duo, especially with him working with Pat Surtain as like a mentor.
I absolutely agree.
And the last Monday Night Football matchup will be the Rams and the Ravens. Now I want to. I was gonna say, hear me out.
I loved the Ravens draft, and I have a lot of faith in the Ravens as a team as well.
I loved
Gotta
the
remember this is
Ravens.
Okay, well, I was gonna say you gotta remember this is week 1, but it's the Rams week 1, and it's the Rams
it's the
early
Rams
season.
week one.
Okay, that's a Ravens one.
The Rams do have a lot of questions coming in. Puka Nacua is gonna have to step up a lot more. I mean, he kind of already has, especially without Cooper Kupp. And the Baltimore Ravens, they had the most draft picks, tied with the 49ers this draft, and they delivered. I loved almost every pick they made. I was really mad when they fleeced Tex Aeneas Peebles from us 1 pick before we got him. I think they're gonna do some big things. Their defense, they addressed it amazingly. I think this should be a lock, especially in Baltimore.
All right. Now from here on out, we're going to kind of fly through more. We'll stop to talk about more interesting matchups a little bit more in depth. But we're going to try to have the pace get picked up. So I'll kind of rapid fire a little bit.
Yeah, no, we did not do that. We talked about all of them.
Starting with Thursday Night Football, week 2, Chiefs-Chargers.
I know I'm very high on Justin Herbert. I'm one of those ones where I'm he's if man, and I'm kind of on that if train. But these are some of the best divisional games in recent years.
Oh, yeah.
And I always favor the Chargers because I think that the Chargers are most consistently one of the Chiefs' biggest hurdles. And I'm going to continue that. I'm going to die on that hill of Justin Herbert and the Chargers, and I'm taking the Chargers here.
If this was at any other time and the Chiefs hadn't lost week 1, I'd take the Chargers, but I can't take them to go.
That's what I was going to say. I can't see the Chiefs starting 0-2. I mean, with these opponents, it's possible, but I'm not going to lie.
Last year, though.
Yeah, that's true, but I've just I'm kind of the opposite of Ian. I'm honestly losing it a bit with Justin Herbert. I still think he's a great quarterback, but he was definitely overhyped last year. Okay, top 5 is definitely questionable. I want to see how he works with better receivers, but I can't give him any more if credit. I have to see it now. I can't keep giving him the what ifs. And it's the Chiefs. I can't see them going 0-2.
Bengals Broncos. I'm taking Denver.
This is a Denver win.
I'm also taking Denver, especially because week 1 is going to tell us a lot about that Bengals defense.
Oh, boy. And
if it's not solid, Denver's just going to take this one.
I also think, unlike their matchup last year, I think the Denver offense will be a lot better, and I think will be a lot less panicky when towards the end of that game they were trying to throw it away. I don't think that'll happen again. I think Denver's going to take it. And Denver did a good job shutting down Cincinnati last year.
I absolutely agree. And Jada Barron is gonna really make that passing game a little tough for Joe Burrow.
The Jets and the Dolphins. Now, I didn't say this when we went with the first game. I think Miami's not going to be good next year.
I agree.
Completely agree, and I have a lot of faith in their Jets and Justin Fields, and I think they bounce back from week 1 and take it in this one.
I think the only positive thing that's going to happen for the Dolphins is inevitably Zach Wilson's going to see some playing time and is actually going to look pretty good. But honestly, that's maybe going to happen for only 1 or 2 games, and I like the Jets, so I'm going to take the Jets.
Tua will, hopefully not with a concussion, but Tua will probably either have an injury or
I'm generally considering he might get benched.
Really? I don't know if that'll happen, but I mean, if he has a really bad year, it's possible.
The Dolphins did take Quinn Ewers, so there is a chance.
Okay, but Quinn Ewers.
He was also on the 7th.
I do not like Quinn Ewers. I don't like Quinn Ewers. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not a Quinn Ewers guy. I mean, he went in the 7th for a reason. If you look at some of the quarterbacks taken above him, the scouts would agree. I'm not a Quinn Ewers guy.
I agree too. I just think with the way the Dolphins are and their quarterback room, there's a chance.
I still think Zach Wilson's gonna have a revival.
Texans, Jaguars. Okay, I'm not gonna get the hear me out, but hear me out. Their offensive line is gonna hurt them.
I'm gonna take Jacksonville. I'm gonna take Jacksonville.
We're doing it.
I'm
We're doing
taking
it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
I
Hell
think this is
yeah.
gonna be, I think
I think this is gonna be the Travis Hunter breakout game.
me too. I think they see how things went in week 1. That's their experiment pyramid and their experiment period, and then week 2 they really set into what they want to do, and and he just takes over.
Now the Texans won't be complete garbage. They'll get some wins later, but I think they can start 0-2. I think that's plausible. Browns, Ravens.
I'm picking
Just pick the Ravens and move on.
Questions.
We don't need to
Bills,
talk about that.
Steelers.
I picked the Bills.
I'll take the Bills.
I'll take.
Titans, Niners is actually a little interesting.
I
I don't think the Titans win this one,
I
but
feel temptation to pick the Titans here.
It's
I
really
do.
hard. Like I said before, it's really hard for me to judge how good the Niners are gonna be. And
It's a team on the up and a team on the down. It's just a matter of who gets there faster.
but the problem with me too is Cam Ward will have some bad games.
I just don't think this is one of them. I don't think
I
the
don't think-
49ers defense is going to be something that Cam Ward needs to worry about.
Like I said, I think week 1 playing the Browns is a great team for a rookie to start against. And then I think he'll be very optimistic. He'll be on a high horse after that game, hopefully. And then going into a weakened San Francisco defense with that team with a bunch of uncertainties as of now, he'll be able to ride that high horse into a close victory.
Giants, Patriots.
I'm taking Patriots. I have a lot of faith in the Patriots this season.
I agree. I'm going to take the Patriots. I think the Giants will see success again, but I think that's going to be a more later season thing. But I think they will put up decent games. Yeah, so this is why I was like tweaking when we got to this week. When I was like tweaking because I saw this. I hate that our home opener is against Carolina. However, being realistic, I know this is our curse, but this is at home, and I do think Arizona wins.
Yeah.
But I think Arizona wins.
I'm taking Carolina.
I want to be on Carson's side and take the Cardinals.
Oh my
But part of me has this gut feeling that the Panthers are going to be on an early tear, and I think it's just unfortunate that the Cardinals are taking them on in week 2.
I
And
agree.
my
I completely
My
agree.
gut is screaming Carolina, but my heart is screaming Arizona, and I have to take my gut and go with Carolina.
I think Bryce Young is going to absolutely torch the league in the first half of the season. He's going to play with some fire in his eyes, some vengeance, just like how he was playing at the end of the season last year, but like better.
Not to
And I
mention,
think-
too, when they played this year, the final score was what, 36-33?
Yeah.
And not
In
only
overtime.
the Cardinals upgraded their defense, but the Panthers also upgraded their offense. So it's gonna be an amazing game. It's gonna be an amazing,
Absolutely.
amazing game. And I
Game
see
of
out
the week material.
both, and I'm kind of rooting for both, but my gut tells me Carolina.
I mean,
I'm taking.
I can completely understand the Carolina pick, and I won't blame you guys for picking it because history has taught us that that's just kind of how it works most of the time for some reason. But I mean, this is the home opener, and I think I like I said before, I think the Bryce Young T-Mac connection is gonna still be kind of growing. And I think again the Arizona offense is basically just gonna be running it back. I think they'll be able to pull out just fine. But I can also completely understand Carolina. It's going to be a good one. Whenever it happens, it's going to be a good one.
I'm gonna take Detroit over Green Bay.
I absolutely agree.
I agree too, yeah.
I don't think I need to sway onto that. Falcons, Saints. I think the Falcons are gonna be in a similar
Falcons.
situation to the Panthers.
Love the
Give me the
Falcons
Falcons.
this season.
Honestly, I think the NFC South, besides the Saints, that's gonna be an interesting division.
I agree.
Will.
And speaking of the Bucks, Bucks Seahawks. Now I will say they're both 0-1 right now. I don't think the Bucks dropped 0-2. I think the Seahawks have more stuff to figure out.
I think records aside, I think the Buccaneers have a big bounce back game against probably a close loss against the Bills. I think Seahawks probably still have a couple of things to iron out, and I just see honestly, I think this might be this is a very super early crazy take, and I want this to be quoted. Whether it goes good or bad, I think Baker Mayfield might have an MVP caliber season this year.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm not
Whoa.
gonna necessarily fully
MVP.
agree, but I love the take.
I'm not saying Baker Mayfield MVP locking it now. I'm saying it's gonna be an MVP caliber season, and he will be in discussions.
I don't know if I can jump that high on it, but I could see. I love that they picked Emeka Egbuka, completely random, out of pocket
too.
thing. But I really liked it, honestly, and I think Baker Mayfield could go off. I don't know if I'm confident enough to say it like you are, but I love it.
I want to be quoted on it.
You will be. Chat, clip that,
All
and
right.
by chat I mean me in post.
Eagles Vikings.
This is gonna
I
be
am
a
so
very
sorry,
good-
JD McCarthy.
It was a good game last
Yeah.
time they played. I'm taking Philadelphia. Though.
I
I'm
feel
on-
so
I'm-
bad. I believe that JJ McCarthy's going to see some early success just with this schedule. I mean, that's just a rough first 2 games, but I think Philly should probably take it. But I think it'll be really good. Honestly, I think it'll be really good.
I think McCarthy will show some really good flashes in this game if he doesn't week 1. It's just a very tough defense to go against.
Absolutely. It was a very tough defense, and now it's an entirely new defense.
They've lost a lot of pieces, but they also gained a lot of pieces, and it's still going to be a very solid defense.
Oh, it will be.
I'm taking the Commanders over the Cowboys.
Correct.
Yeah. They're not going 0-2.
I'm taking the Bears over the Raiders.
This is Monday Night
Okay.
Football?
Yes.
Oh, another
So-
doubleheader.
sorry.
Okay.
Commanders Cowboys is Sunday Night Football, and this is Monday.
Got
I guess
it.
not this way. I'm going to take Chicago. I have a lot of faith in this team going into the season, way more than I had in the
Yeah.
past.
It's the Raiders.
Our offense is looking incredibly scary. Our defense is looking scary. And also we just beat the Raiders. We always beat the Raiders. We haven't lost to them since 2019.
I will
so-
say one thing. We know that the Bears really wanted Genty, so he's going to go off in this game. Genty is going to run for so many yards this game.
See, and I would typically agree last season because our run defense was so bad. But I think our run defense has taken such a heavy upgrade that there's a good chance we can stuff him.
You're not stuffing
think-
Genty.
I'm not
You could
not
have
stuffing.
deal with him effectively, but you're not stuffing him.
Not stuff him, no, but I think this might be like his welcome to the NFL game. I don't think that'll be the case week 1.
I respect the take. I don't agree, but I still think Chicago wins regardless.
Hear me out on this next game. This is the other Monday Night Football game, the second doubleheader in a row. They did week 2 last year, so I followed with it. I think the Rams' slow start continues. I think the Colts just have a better game than standards and win this one.
I think the Rams take it.
I'm okay. I think I like this being Anthony Richardson's one random game.
Well, of course you do, but I'll let
I mean,
it
yeah,
slide.
Will it even
I
beat
mean-
Anthony Richardson week 2?
I think so. I think.
Probably, but
I imagine they'll give him at least 2 weeks.
all right, week 3, Thursday Night Football, Niners Bucks.
Give me the Bucks.
Give me
I
the
agree.
Bucks. I'm trying with these NFC West ones. I'm trying not to be too biased, but this, Tampa.
Okay, Ian, I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna let you guys go first.
I'm sorry. I think it splits, but I think especially because I think I play a part with records and stuff. I think the situation, even though it's in Chicago, I think Green Bay takes the first one.
I think this is in Chicago, which does play a big part,
I
but
think
I
the new system
personally
still
am
has time
gonna.
to-
I agree. Yeah, the new system is gonna be a little slow.
Ben Johnson system. I
Yeah,
can
it's
respect that.
it's gonna be great. This is gonna be
Yeah.
one of the losses. And
I think we're sweeping the Packers this year. I think it's finally gonna
wow,
happen. And you guys saw how we did. We almost swept them this year. The first game had obviously a blocked field goal, which sucked, but it came down the wire. And then the second game came to the game-winning field goal, and we've just upgraded everything since then. So I think we're sweeping. I'm
I'm-
taking the Bears. But I
I'm
respect your guys'
definitely questioning a lot of bias here, but you also are a Bears fan in the off season, so I do understand.
Yeah.
And also, my points are valid. It's not just bias.
I mean,
it's
they're
pure
valid,
valid.
but they're also valid every year, and it still doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So
This is the most valid it's ever been.
I also agree
Matt-
that they're gonna split. I think they'll split.
General rule of thumb: Seattle wins in Arizona. Arizona wins in Seattle.
This is correct. If they split,
Moving on.
the past couple years it's just been the Seahawks winning every time, but before that they just always we've lost to the Seahawks every year. They've swept us for 3 straight years. But before that,
And
the
this-
general rule of thumb was that they split and they win in each other's stadiums. That's just how it works. And I think that's going to
And with-
happen this season.
And with the Seahawks win, they're sitting the top of the division at 1-2.
Wow. The NFC West is once again going to be so weird.
So I am an advocate for picking upsets.
I was about to say, hear me out.
So
The Giants
here's the
Lions?
situation.
With the Giants Lions?
This is the most ridiculous upset ever. But the Giants are at 0-2. The Lions are at 2-0. They have new coordinators. Russell Wilson's coming in. It's one of those things where it's so unlikely that it feels plausible in this specific situation, a week 3 matchup early of the season.
agree.
You'll see these in week 3
Completely agree.
specifically.
It's a very niche matchup in a very niche moment with two very niche teams, and I think the Giants somehow sneak this one out.
I
This,
think Neighbors goes crazy.
see, I'm big on the Giants next season. I don't think this is when it'll happen. But, I mean, if you guys okay.
I am
Okay.
spoiling, but I am also partially taking them in week 3 because they're not winning week 4. They're not winning week 4. I'm pretty sure week 5 is also really bad. I mean,
The Lions are pretty bad, so,
It's worse. I promise you it's worse week 4. The coordinator specifically is I promise you it's worse week 4. And I'm pretty sure week 5 is, if it's the team I'm thinking of, it's also worse. Saints Panthers.
I mean, I take the Panthers. I don't like the Panthers starting 3-0. I think they're going to be good. I don't like them starting 3-0, but that also comes down to the Cardinals game. But I mean, they're going to beat the Saints.
I think the
I
Panthers
think
too.
the tear. I like the tear. I think they'll stop. I think they'll lose week 4 or 5. Falcons Vikings.
I think the Falcons sneak this, or not Falcons. I think the Vikings sneak this one.
The
I think
Vikings are
McCarthy
going to take this.
I think McCarthy finds his rhythm and they take this one, and what would probably be considered an upset.
McCarthy versus
Um,
Penix is a cool matchup, though.
It's going to be a great.
Vegas has made improvements. They're not beating Washington.
Correct.
No, I agree. with that.
Cowboys Jets.
I'm taking the Jets, but I
Taking
can
the
see
Jets.
I can see a world where where Dallas
You're both
wins.
picking the Jets.
but
Yes,
taking
I'm picking the
Jets.
Jets.
I was gonna take the Cowboys, but I respect it.
I can see.
I
a
don't
world
think the
where-
Cowboys will be 0-3, but
I definitely do.
I think Rams Titans. I think the Rams are gonna take it. I
agree.
think this will be a really cool matchup with Matthew Stafford versus Cam Ward. I love quarterback storylines. I think this is gonna be a very close one, and Cam Ward's gonna have a little bit of a wake up. But the Rams should take it.
I don't think the Rams go 0-3 either, and I don't think the Titans go 3-0.
I agree.
And that's kind of my thought process for the next one. Patriots going into Cincinnati. I don't think the Patriots are. I'm high on the Patriots. I don't think they're starting 3-0, and I don't think the Cincinnati's gonna have a losing record after week 3.
I don't
We
think
saw,
Cincinnati.
we saw Patriots beat Cincinnati week 3 of this year, but I don't think it'll happen this year. I think Cincinnati's defense will
Week
be a
1
lot
this
better
year.
to handle it. Sorry, week 1.
I know my opinion doesn't matter here since you guys both picked Cincinnati, but I want to take New England, and I'm going to. I don't have much good reasoning for it. I'm not gonna lie. I just really want to take New England there.
Ravens Chiefs. I'm gonna take the Chiefs with the record situations, especially.
I
I-
agree.
Baltimore. I don't think the record matters in this regard.
We have the 2-1 over the Chiefs.
I think if the Ravens beat the Chiefs, it would be if they meet in the postseason. I think the Chiefs. I don't see them starting 1 and 2. Well, no, I'm gonna take the Ravens here. I'm gonna take the Ravens.
Really?
I like Baltimore. I like Baltimore.
Maybe the bad vibe, the bad karma will get to the Chiefs this year. We'll lose a bunch of close games, still make the playoffs, but
Yeah.
Chargers Dolphins. I'm taking the Chargers.
This is a Chargers win.
Dolphins will be 0-3. I'm not unhappy about that. Colts. Jesus, I think the Jaguars win this one actually.
I agree.
Oh yeah, they have to. It's at home. Jaguars haven't lost at home to Indianapolis since like 2011.
I agree.
agree.
Travis Hunter's gonna go crazy again.
Browns Steelers. They're both 0-2. I want to point that out. I think the Steelers win.
I think the Steelers.
Sorry, I know Ian didn't get the chance to say anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I would have to think about that one. So it doesn't really matter. You guys pick the Steelers anyway. So
I'll let y'all talk.
no, for
Eagles.
this next one.
Eagles Bills. This is a Bills W.
Again, I'm so high on the Eagles.
I know-
think they can take this one.
I know it
think
hurt me
this-
last year because
I
I
think this
was
comes out game of the year or game like at this point in time, week 3. I think this is game of the year. But I think it's gonna be such a good high scoring game. I just gotta take Philly.
I know it hurt me last year that I wasn't super high on the Eagles, and I'm not that doubtful of the Eagles. I still think they're going to have a pretty good season. But I loved Buffalo's draft. I really loved Buffalo's draft. Probably a top 10 draft for me.
They think
And
want to point out too. It's in Buffalo, which is making me think it's gonna be.
That's the other thing. I think
That is
Buffalo has had the better off season, and it's at home, so I'm gonna take Buffalo.
I see this game going either way.
I agree.
Philly's my team, not my team.
Denver, Houston. Denver, Houston. I actually think Houston comes out with this one.
I like Denver.
Denver. I think Denver just goes on an early season tear. Like this schedule so far is not.
I
the
don't
most
have
difficult.
faith in the Texans next year. I'm okay with them starting 0-3. I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I'm really okay with it. I think CJ Stroud isn't going to have as much of a sophomore slump now that it's his third season, but I still don't think they're going to do great.
2 0-3 teams on Thursday Night Football: Dolphins, Browns.
This is a funny Thursday night football.
If there was going to be a game that the Dolphins were going to win, I think it would be this one.
Yeah.
Hear me out.
Bengals, Bill. Oh, okay.
No, never mind. Never mind. Never mind.
Bengals, Bills.
Yeah,
I'll
Bills.
take Buffalo in this matchup.
This is a
I think
Buffalo
Buffalo.
win. This is a Buffalo win.
Wow. Okay. I was actually gonna take Cincinnati because they usually have our number, but I will let it slide.
Especially if their defense isn't what we think it's, especially if their defense isn't what we think it's going to be, Buffalo will take this one.
I think
Sure.
Buffalo has a solid enough defense. Again, corners were a very big part of this draft. Buffalo took some pretty good corners. And Cincinnati's defense doesn't really exist, so I think that's going to be the turning point. And again, it's in Buffalo.
I low-key like Vegas in a random Geno Smith legendary game upset when the Broncos are 3-0.
Completely agree. I think this is the game that I think the Raiders kind of shock everyone and take this game.
Steelers,
Okay,
Chargers.
I don't agree with that,
I
but
think the
okay.
Steelers are going to take this one.
I think the Chargers have it.
I'm going Steelers.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know why. I think the Colts beat the Texans.
I think the Texans are gonna take
I
it.
think the Colts beat the Texans as well.
I'm sorry. I think the Texans beat the Colts. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, then, okay.
literally
I
picked the
think
Texans
the
on this
Colts
game.
win, but I completely
I think
understand
Houston
it.
takes this one.
I also don't see
Yeah,
Houston starting 0-4, so
I still think Indy's quarterback situation is still just all over the place by week 4.
that's fair.
Now, this is an absolutely crazy statement, but the Jags and Titans are sitting and fighting for the division lead in week 4
Wow.
in Tennessee.
I
think
think
this is gonna be
Tennessee's
amazing.
going to take this.
I think it's going to be a very good game. I kind of feel the Jacksonville upset, but I respect Tennessee over it.
I
think-
can't do it. I don't think the Jags are going to be
I
that.
totally respect. Honestly, I think I'm taking Tennessee, but I totally see a Jacksonville upset.
And I really hate doing this because, again, the Virginia Tech fan inside of me is like, I hate Cam Ward with every fiber of my being, but he's landed in such a good system, and I really love him next season, and I hate that. But I do. I really like Cam Ward next season, and I think this should be a pretty easy win at home.
I'm taking the Bucks over the Jets.
I think the
100%.
Jets take this one.
So remember what I was saying about the Giants? I don't think they're beating the Chiefs.
No, the Chiefs take it over the Giants
the
for sure.
Chiefs will take it. Falcons,
Falcons,
Patriots.
This is gonna be such a good game for
really
me.
good.
I'm so high on the teams.
And they're both
I'm gonna
2-1,
take
are they
the-
not? They are both
gonna take
2-1.
here.
I'm gonna take
Who you taking?
I think defensively Atlanta has the upper edge, so I'm gonna take Atlanta.
I agree. I think the Atlanta defense is gonna be big next season.
Perfect. Sorry, Ian.
No, before you guys say anything, I'm just going to preface this matchup is a very big what if matchup for me. This is week 4, Chicago going into Baltimore to take on the Ravens. If Ben Johnson's scheme is amazing, fully in effect, our offense is rolling, I see us taking this game. But if not, I see Baltimore taking it not easily. I think it's going to be a very good game. I think it's actually going to be a very good game. I'm taking Baltimore, but I think there's a good chance that if our offense is rolling weeks 1 through 3, we can go into Baltimore and take this game.
I agree.
But again,
I actually agree with
that's a
that.
I
very big
agree.
if. Very big if.
There is also a very big if. Again, I'm very high on Baltimore's defense next year. I loved all the picks that they made. It wasn't the best last season, but they addressed it very well in the draft. There is a possibility that those rookies don't pan out, in which case I could very easily see this being a Chicago win, obviously. But I think that'll be enough, and Baltimore should be able to take it. I know Lamar Jackson has his random teams that he'll drop two in the regular season, but to be honest, I think Chicago will be too good for this to be that random game.
Yeah, the Ravens will have that random game soon. Lions, Commanders. I'm taking the Commanders, man.
I'm taking the Commanders, man.
I respect the Commanders pick.
Eagles, Packers. I'm taking the Eagles.
Give me the Eagles.
Give me the Packers there, but
Cowboys,
I
Panthers.
also understand.
Okay. I know. I think the Panthers will have a bad game here.
I think
Yeah,
bad
I
game
think
will-
this is the Cowboys random.
I don't see the Panthers starting 4-0, and I don't see the Cowboys starting 0-4. I think they slip this one through.
Niners, Rams. I'm taking the Rams, even though Niners. Both these teams are going to be really interesting, and I think the Rams always have their slow starts. But I think the Rams took it against them at home last year when this was happening, even though it was injury related. I'm taking the Rams still.
I'm gonna take the Niners.
I just can't. Oh man, now I have to decide. I just can't pick for the Niners because they're the one team that I'm not saying I'm picking the Rams. I'm just saying I can't make picks involving the Niners because I genuinely don't know. They're just such a big question mark. I think I'm going to take the Rams. I think the Rams are a more solid team and I have more faith in Stafford than Purdy. I think the Rams do it.
Now let's talk about a banger Sunday night football game with J.J. McCarthy and J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold.
Jaden McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold. I said J.J.
You did.
You said Jaden.
He said JJ.
I said J.J.
He said JJ.
Anyway, I'm taking
the McCarthy because I don't see them starting 1-3, and that's pretty much the biggest thing for me. I don't see McCarthy starting 1-3. I think this is going to be a huge game, McCarthy versus Darnold, but I think they do it.
Cardinals Saints.
On Monday
taking
Night
Cardinals.
Football, Cardinals Saints. This is definitely Cardinals.
Yeah. So this Monday Night Football game only exists because I had to get the Saints on a primetime. Week 5, we got the Commanders and the Falcons.
Correct. Hold on. You guys talk. I'm going to pull up the score of this game from this year.
Ooh.
It was a Commanders win in overtime. I think it's 28-22.
30-24.
24. That was very close.
Ooh.
Like I said, I have a lot of faith in Atlanta.
This is another good pick for primetime game.
Here for sure. This is an amazing primetime game. I'm taking Atlanta. I'm so high on Atlanta right now.
I can't go against Washington, but
I'm high on both of these teams going in. This is probably a game of the week, assuming Michael Penix performs the way I hope he does. I want to take, it's basically which one of these teams do I see going to 4-1, and I see the Commanders doing that more. So for that reason alone, I'm giving them the win.
Seahawks 49ers.
Taking the Seahawks.
I'm taking the Seahawks.
Niners at 1-4. Let's see if they can make a comeback. Vikings Bears.
I love both
in
of these
Soldier Field,
teams.
I am taking Chicago in Soldier Field. I think we're gonna split. I like that we have.
agree.
I like that we have Soldier Field earlier and Minnesota later because I think we take the initial matchup and I think the Vikings take the later matchup. I think JJ McCarthy really sets in later in the season, and in Minnesota they take that win.
I don't know if this is wild or not, but my prediction for next season is the NFC North is going to be a race between the Bears and the Vikings. And that's probably an insane take because the Packers and the Lions exist, but I am so high on JJ McCarthy. I'm willing to say that, and Ben Johnson is one of my favorite coaches, and I love the things the Bears have done. So I really think these two teams are going to be fighting for the top of the division, and that's probably insane of me to say, but that's my take, and I think they'll split too.
Hear me out. Jordan Love disaster class in Dallas.
I wasn't even thinking that.
As much as I would love to agree.
I will agree. I will agree. I love this. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out.
This is what I was saying. The Giants are going to have a tough time.
No, hear me out.
Giants versus the Eagles.
I think this is a stunner.
No.
I agree. I take the Giants.
I think the Giants yoink. I think it's early enough in the season that they can just yoink it from Philly.
I 100% agree with that.
I think it was even 2 weeks later. It would not be happening. I think it's just early enough that they can do it.
Giants 2 wins are on the road against the Lions and the Eagles. Okay. We're here for the content. This is actually funny. All right. Cardinals, Rams.
I will let you guys
In
talk.
SoFi.
Even
You know what? Because it's
I-
early season, I like the Cardinals.
I think I take in Arizona, even going into SoFi.
hear me out. What I'm gonna say here: the Cardinals were last season a literal pass bouncing off of Trey McBride's head away from sweeping the Niners, and I think that the Cardinals have improved. And the Rams have a little bit more of a question. I see the Cardinals sweeping the Rams this season, especially with us playing the early season Rams in SoFi, and when we get the good Rams, it's in Arizona. I think sweeping the Rams is very possible.
Saints, Dolphins.
Saints,
I'm taking the
Dolphins.
Saints.
I
Give
think
me the Saints.
this is going to be a Tyler Shook masterclass.
Now,
It's Shook, actually. That's how it's pronounced.
is it
It is Shook.
really?
And I know because I had to do that research for college knowledge. It is Tyler Shook, which is really random.
I think that's the Saints' first win.
I agree. This is a Tyler Shook masterclass.
Panthers, Patriots.
The Panthers will beat the Patriots. I'm going to just say it. And I think these are two teams that were really bad last season that are going to be incredible this season. Give me the Panthers, though.
I agree. I'm going to take the Panthers here as well.
The Bucks and the Texans.
Like I said, give me the Buccaneers. I'm
Well,
so
we
high.
We need to see the Bucks. That defensive line go against this Houston offensive. Who is stopping Vita Vea? And who is stopping the Bucks interior offensive line? They're gonna get pushed around.
Yeah, for that reason alone, I'm picking the Bucks.
I'm taking. Okay, wait, no, sorry, wrong game. Jets, Jaguars.
The Jets. I take the
Taking
Jets.
the Jets.
Okay, so the Chiefs are gonna beat the Raiders. They're not gonna let the Raiders get a better
No,
record.
they're
But
not.
Chiefs definitely take the Raiders. They have their number.
Baltimore is going to lose to Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, I agree. I think this is their. It's. I think that's the one.
Mike Tomlin, Colts, Titans.
I am-
Hear me out.
I'm confident enough in the Titans to say they go 4-1.
Hear me out.
I think if it not this week, next week is when the Colts really focus in on a quarterback.
Yeah.
But I don't think against the Titans is when it will work if they do choose so happen to have it this week.
Man, Titans 4-1 is crazy. It's plausible. Oh yeah. So there's also London games.
Oh, I was wondering what that was. In London?
Give me
Bills,
Buffalo.
Okay, wait, what week is it? It's week 5?
Yeah.
Hear me out.
I will say the Bills lost last time we went to
I
London.
like it because it's in London. I have a crazy theory. This will be one of the rookies' first starts.
I'll
No,
let it.
I-
I'll let it slide.
I
Have fun.
like it. I like Cleveland.
Let's slide. That's the last undefeated.
Cleveland
team off
is
the
going to
board, by the
have,
way.
if they figure out the quarterbacks, Cleveland is going to have glimpses of greatness next season. And I think this is one of them.
Sunday Night
Also,
Football,
shout out to the
Lions-
Titans, who are currently the 1 seed.
Lions. Jesus Christ. Lions, Bengals, Sunday Night Football.
I am taking Cincinnati.
I disagree. I'm taking Detroit.
I agree with the Cincinnati pick.
Okay.
Not much to be said. I'm taking it.
Wow, Detroit. Denver and the Chargers on Monday Night Football.
Give me
Taking
Denver.
Denver.
Okay. Thursday Night Football. Seahawks and Steelers.
I'll take-
DK
Ooh,
Metcalf.
that'd be a good one.
Ooh.
I think it'll be a
I
great
like the
game.
Seahawks.
I think I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
Fun fact: last time these two teams played, they played in Pittsburgh on a primetime game 2 years ago.
Why are you making me pick
In
this
week
one?
6.
I
Who won that game?
who did win that game?
Good question.
This is again.
It went to overtime, so I don't remember.
This is again from this part of the season is when I think it really becomes important whether or not it's Aaron Rodgers or Will Howard for the
I'm sorry.
Steelers. You're good.
I'm sorry. The last time they played was 2023 in Seattle. I'm thinking of the 2021 matchup. But that game was week 6. It went to overtime. And the Steelers won, and the Steelers won last time as well.
I see.
It's
Taking
Seattle.
I'm taking the Steelers.
But
Seattle.
with the quarterbacks, it really does matter whether it's Will Howard or Aaron Rodgers. But I think either way, I'm inclined to take Pittsburgh.
Okay. Packers, Browns.
Yeah, the Packers are gonna humble the Browns real quick.
Niners, Colts.
I think, like I said, I think they get their
Right.
quarterback situation figured out. I think Indianapolis finally takes a game.
I didn't want to.
No,
I did.
no.
Okay, I didn't want to be the one to say it because it's the 49ers, but it's that part of the season. I think this is when Indianapolis is gonna get things figured out. And I still don't like the San Francisco defense, so I take Indianapolis.
Wow. Okay. I'm taking the Bengals over the
The
Jaguars.
Bengals over the Jaguars is a given.
I can agree with that.
Patriots, Bills.
See,
Honestly,
I would be inclined to pick the Patriots,
Buffalo.
but
It's in
Buffalo's
Buffalo.
not going to have 2 losses like that in a row.
This is in Buffalo, so give me Buffalo.
The Chargers will
Vegas or the Chargers? I'm taking the Chargers.
The Chargers will win.
KC over Houston.
Texans, Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Houston's also 1-5. Holy.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I got Dolphins, Jets in London. That's another game.
Give me the Jets.
I agree.
The Jets and Dolphins have already played twice now. First 2 teams to do that. Saints, Bucks. I'm taking the
Give me the Bucks.
Bucks.
Give me the
yeah.
Bucks.
Give me a Tyler Shuck upset with the Saints.
Why do you think Derek Carr's not gonna do this? Oh, because of his shoulder injury.
Because of his
thing.
shoulder injury. That's why they
You know
drafted. That's
why?
why they drafted a quarterback.
I think they'll probably start like Spencer Rattler stupidly in the first couple weeks.
That's
I'll
true.
agree with
Rattler,
you.
I haven't even been thinking about Rattler. Rattler could very well be the starter, but I think at this point it's going to be Shuck. I'm
That's what
cautiously
I'm saying. Like, I
optimistic.
think Rattler will play bad and they'll put in Shook. And
Yeah.
I'll let slide.
I am very cautiously optimistic about him. I don't really know enough about him to have a strong opinion, but I'm very cautiously optimistic.
I don't think the Eagles are losing after losing to the Giants, even though it's the Rams. The Rams are a very good team, but it's also
I
early
agree.
season.
Carolina, Atlanta,
I think
this is a
Falcons.
good one.
I think they're going to split in each other's stadiums. I think Carolina is going to take it weak the first matchup, and I think Atlanta is going to take it in Carolina.
I'm inclined to think it's going to go the other way.
All I know is that they're going to split. I'm fine with the order you guys go. I'm just 80% confident they're going to split.
I agree. I think Carolina's going to get humbled a little bit here, so just for that, I'm going to pick Atlanta the first time.
Works totally for me.
I do know they play week 18 the second time.
Ooh, okay. That's a good one.
The Bears and the Commanders on Sunday night.
Oh,
football
and
in
you made it
Washington.
Sunday night football.
We
That's
get our revenge. I'm saying
devious.
we get our revenge.
The
I'll
Bears
let
are
Carson talk first.
okay. No, you
I'm
talk.
saying we get
You
it.
talk. You talk first, because I don't know. I need to think.
You know me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Washington for the.
Yeah, you just
plot.
love to bully me. That's why.
Same thing
Okay.
with Carson.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. You two both did the same thing to me, and I'm actually
No,
I'm
that wasn't a bully pick.
Washington. When I'm looking at these two teams, this is really hard because I'm really confident Chicago is gonna be that division contender with the Vikings, and honestly, I'm convinced they can take the division. I really think both these teams are going to be sitting at similar records at the end of the season, and when I make this pick, I'm doing it purely based off of Chicago is more of a what if factor. Washington is more proven right now, and I am going to take Washington, but if I were picking it for the plot, I would pick Chicago. And I want to pick Chicago, but I think Washington is the more proven team at the moment. And during the season, I just need Chicago to show me for a couple weeks that they are what I think they are. But I really think Washington is going to be such a threat that I'm going to take them. Also, at this point, Colin Schlee is going to have started mentoring Jaden Daniels, which is going to come in handy.
If he makes the roster.
If he makes the
Which he
roster.
totally
If
should.
not, if he doesn't make the roster, Cliff Kingsbury's going to have a crazy collapse. Dallas?
Cowboys, Giants. I'm taking Dallas.
I'm taking the Giants.
I'm taking the Giants too.
I'm taking the Giants. I'm confident they're gonna run all over them. This is also a
Detroit?
potential start for a different quarterback.
This is a Monday Night doubleheader again, by the way. The second one is Detroit and Minnesota.
I like Minnesota.
I know y'all are confident in Minnesota, but I think it's a split.
I'm
I think
taking
Detroit takes the first one.
I'm taking
Okay.
Detroit.
That's valid. I don't see Minnesota starting 2-4. That's my thing.
Well, I don't see either of them starting 2-4. Like, I don't think Detroit should be down here, but
That's fair. I guess that would put Detroit at 2-4 too.
Hey, Football Nation, here's where we're going to cut part 1 of the episode to hear the rest of the season and the postseason based on our predictions. Make sure to watch part 2, which should be coming out very shortly after this one, so you can be ready for the schedule release.